Hey guys, how's it going? So what am I working on now? Well, I got my own Silverado in the shop. It's Sunday. It's a rainy, miserable day. I have so many other things I need to do, but the weather is kind of prohibiting me from doing them because it's some body-related stuff, stuff like that. But anyway, so I got my Silverado in the shop, and if you recall on a previous video, I put a throttle position sensor in because it had a code in it for it. It had it for a long time. It would like come and go and come and go and come and go. And I honestly thought it was a throttle position sensor. I really have no drivability issues. Every once in a while, the thing detonates, starts pinging. That's the only thing that goes on. I mean, yes, it throws a check engine light, but I honestly thought it was a TPS. So I figured, I'll put a TPS in it. So I did that. Didn't fix nothing. Throwing parts at it. Didn't fix nothing. Go figure. 9 times out of 10, you're probably right. If you got a TPS code, it's probably a bad TPS. Anyway, so I'm in the shop now. I got my scanner hooked up. I haven't done anything yet. Let's look and see what codes we actually have and what they actually mean. All right, I'll shut my light off there. Actually, let me shut my... Where the heck is it? Right there. Shut the inside lights off so it doesn't reflect. All right, scanner. This one may pre-read everything. Oh, let me shut my blower motor off so I don't put an excess drain on the battery. All right. So there we go. 2006 Silverado four-wheel drive 4.3. Power horse. We're going to go to engine, manual transmission. And we're going to go to codes menu. Display codes. All powertrain codes. Okay, I know about the EVAP system vent control circuit low. I'm pretty confident. I checked that a long time ago, and I'm pretty confident it is a bad vent valve. Anyway, so P0122, throttle position or APP sensor, circuit 1 low, short or low. So it sounds to me like a shorted wire. APP is the electronic throttle, the pedal. I don't have that. This does have a cable running out there to run the throttle body, so this does not have an APP sensor. So, P0122, it has a thing called common replace parts. See that on the top there, just above? And what you could do is you can click on that, and see that? Common replaced failure is a throttle position sensor. Okay, well, we've already done that. We know that's not the problem. The other thing is the throttle body is kind of common. Well, guess what? The throttle body on this is not electronic. So, that's not going to be the problem. So, what could it be? I don't know. Let's look at data for a minute. Actually, let me hop up in here. Hold on one second. All right, let's bring this thing to data. Come on. I just want to see what it shows. Sensor data, maybe? Let's find out. All right. They give you a whole bunch of oxygen sensor information. There's mass air. Throttle position is at 0. Throttle position voltage, 0. I don't think it's supposed to read that. My foot's not on the pedal yet. I'm going to start hitting the pedal right now. I got no change. Look at that. It's amazing. You hear me putting it to the floor? That's floored. Off. Floored. Off. Okay. So, we obviously have an electrical issue. All right, so let me go back again. It was a P0122, right? P0122. All right, what I'm going to have to do is I got to pull up and see exactly what they call for testing for this. Once I bring that up, then I'm going to go through whatever test it is. It's only 3 wires. So you're going to have a 5-volt reference, a power and a return... 5-volt reference, a return to the PCM, and you're going to have some type of a ground circuit probably. So let me just verify that that's what it is, and we're going to go from there and we're going to test it that way. So I'm out underneath the hood and I'm getting ready to start testing the wiring on this. And what I'm supposed to have is I'm supposed to have a low reference, a 5-volt reference, and a throttle position signal return basically back to the computer. So one thing I wanted to point out, a lot of you notice I wear a headlight a lot of times. It's by a company. They don't endorse me. is just what I use because I like it. And I just ordered another one. This is my new one that just came in. LED lenser. This bad boy right here. It's rechargeable. I tell you what, I love these things. I've never broken one. I've lost one, but I've never broken one. A lot of times what happens is because I wear these things so much, after a while, because I got a big fat head, the band actually gets basically embedded with sweat over time, and it stretches out and it loses its elasticity and everything else. But anyway, if you need a good headlight, these things are awesome. So this is why I use these things. And I've tried other ones. I've tried those light bands. Matter of fact, I have one right here. One of these light bands. Yeah, that's why it sits there. When people say that those things are better than these, it's no way. Absolutely no way. The only thing that's really good for is if I'm up underneath a dash an awful lot, then another one works pretty good. But this one, I tell you, I can't argue with the amount of light it gives. So, doing the testing, it wants me to... Actually, let me shut it off so you can see what I'm doing, because the light just reflects. I got to disconnect the throttle position sensor there, and I got to start testing for 5-volt reference is the first thing they want you to test. So let me do that. So there I am into the 5-volt reference circuit. So that should have 5 volts. I have the meter hooked to a ground here, which is the battery. And lo and behold, I have 5 volts. Okay, so I know the 5-volt reference is good. So now I got to look to see what the next step actually is. So now the next step, what they want you to do is they want you to jump the 5-volt reference to the signal return with a 3-amp fuse in there. I only had a 5 amps, as close as I could get. So I am at both the 5-volt reference and the signal return. So it should show something on the scanner itself. Now I pulled up throttle position on the scanner, the voltage, and if you look there on top, throttle position, voltage, 0. Okay, so 0, what does that mean? Now I got to look that up too. Let me go back to that. All right, so the next step is it wants me to check that wire for short to ground, and then I got to check the resistance of that wire from the connector to the PCM, the return signal, to see what's going on there. Because if it's shorted to ground or if it's broken somewhere and open, that would be the reason to have 0 voltage on that. So let me start getting stuff apart, and I'll show you what I come up with. I think I found it. So the PCM is down over here. I took the cover off. But I said, you know what? Let me start tugging on the wires. So I opened up the harness a little bit. I started going down. I'm just pulling on it. I pulled down here, and all of a sudden this wire popped. And it came right up. And this is that wire. So it's up under here somewhere where this thing popped out of. And as soon as I tugged on it, I could feel, like here, I could feel on these wires are tight. Meaning that you could feel that the wiring inside is okay. This one, when I was tugged on it a little bit, I could feel like sponginess, like a springiness to it, which told me that the inside was broken, but the outside, see that? You can see that where the wire is on the inside. But the outside, the insulation was basically the spring part of it. So the wiring is broken in here. So I don't know if anything else is broken in there, but I'm going to have to open this up and I'm going to have to investigate a little bit. And looking at all the other wiring that's right there, that is the only wire that seems to be affected. I don't know if maybe the insulation had gotten nicked at some point in its life and then it just corroded and broke. But the other thing too is the tubing that goes over it, this stuff here, it's so brittle and dry, it's just falling apart. You can see broken pieces of it down there on the valve cover. But basically, yeah, just broke into a million pieces, fell all over the place. So I'm going to just fix that wire like I always fix the wires, you know, with the crimp connector, and then heat shrink it. Pardon me. And then let's see what happens after that if I get a voltage reading. And there you go, I got it fixed. What I wound up doing was I cut a small section of wiring out of it because, you know, just in case it did have corrosion in it, which is kind of hard to tell, but I just didn't want to take a chance. So I just cut it out. I added a section of wire to it. Unfortunately, I didn't have any blue wire, but I did have a piece of white. It's roughly the same gauge, so I really didn't care. It's going to be hidden in the harness anyway once everything's taped up. So there we go. I still have that jumper in place. So let's see. What does the scanner show? Because I never shut anything down. Whoops, hold on. All right, TPS, 5 volts. Okay. So yay. It really wasn't that difficult of a fix. I'm happy for that. I mean, I didn't really feel like getting all that into it because I'm going to be selling this truck. I love this truck, but I'm going to be selling it. Since I had that Dodge Ram, I always wanted a quad cab or a crew cab, whatever you want to call it, and that's what that Dodge Ram is going to be. I'd really rather have a Silverado quad cab, to be totally honest with you. That's a personal preference thing. Maybe it's because I worked at Chrysler for 21 years and I'm just sick and tired of Dodges. I have no idea. But anyway, it's a good truck. Runs great. So both the Silverado and the Ram, they run fantastic. So I'm happy about that. All right, so let me tape up that harness. Let me get that back together. And then it's probably time to leave. So maybe on my road test home, we'll chime in and see how this is running, if it's running any differently, which it should be. So before I finish up, real quick, let's just see if the oil change life thing changes. 1, 2, 3. There. Oh, there we go. Oil life reset. Okay. All right. So now it shouldn't come back up. Just shows oil life reset. All right, so we know now that it's getting... You know, it's just so weird that I never had any drivability issues before. I mean, other than some detonation here and there. But I mean, it was never anything spectacular. Actually, let's clear the codes out of this thing. Because I had the key off, I got to restart this. And if you recall, when I was using my little handheld, oh, what's the... Let me just see. Opposition is showing voltage now, see that? And percentage is changing, that's perfect, okay. But if you recall too, last time when I was using my little handheld scanner, the up at my daughter's place, the code would come immediately back. Well, it says key engine off, but you don't have to. And check engine lights off. And let's go to display codes. All powertrain codes. Vent control circuit load. Yeah, I'm pretty confident I already checked out, and it was a while back. And it's the vent control solenoid's no good. So I'm not going to worry about that today. It's a miserable rainy day, and I'm pretty much done for today. All right, so it's already 5:30. So, all right, but yeah. Take it for a road test, see what it does. Alright guys, so on a home stretch, going home, I noticed no difference in the way it's driving. It drives exactly the same way. I can't understand for the life of me how having no TPS input didn't affect drivability. I really have no idea. The truck drives exactly the same, whether it's working or not. Strange, right? But anyway, ooh, got dark on there. Anyway, I'm just about home now. So I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. All right, guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching.